Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Today we are joined by Nur Wated and Adan Wated to
Hi.
talk about what's happening in Palestine currently.
Mhm.
And this is something really important and really serious, and we really need to take action. And before we get going, I just want Nur to introduce herself and then
Hi
Adan.
guys, my name is Noor and I'm currently a media student going into journalism, and I'm a Palestinian born and raised, and I'm really happy to be here today to spread awareness and talk about what's happening in Sheikh Jarrah.
And my name is Adan Watad. I'm Nur's sister. Not only were we born and raised in Palestine, we were born and raised in Jerusalem, Al-Quds.
Mhm.
I'm in my third year studying criminology, and I'm also really excited here to talk about Palestine because that's my favorite thing to do.
Thank you guys for being here. And I just want to say that they have been with us before to talk about the Palestinian conflict in general. So if you are still unaware of it, I will link the video down in our description below, and please watch that. Thank you. And now I'm going to ask Noor. So what is happening in Sheikh Jarrah?
Well, just to give you a little preview, because it's a really hefty topic, I'm just gonna really summarize it for you guys just so you can understand what's happening, but not get bored or not get too much into it, because I know we have a time limit. It is a Palestinian neighborhood in East Jerusalem, and it's literally 2 minutes away from the Aqsa by car, 7 minutes walking, 10 minutes. There are 28 families that currently live in Sheikh Jarrah, and they've been there since 1956. In 1971, Israel began claiming that everyone that lives in Sheikh Jarrah doesn't actually own the land, as if Israel actually owns the land. So, and in 2008, Israel took the chance right away and occupied a home in Sheikh Jarrah that belonged to Al-Kurd family. And in 2009, they actually occupied two more homes, one that belongs to Al-Ghawi family and the one that belongs to Al-Hanoun family. They literally forced them out of their homes and displaced them. Israel now, what's happening is that they want to evacuate and occupy the rest of Sheikh Jarrah and bring Israeli citizens to live there instead. They originally wanted to do so because they wanted to have a place for them in the middle of Jerusalem. They believe that they need to occupy it because Jews believe that there's something called Shim'on HaTzadik, which is actually something that Jews believe is a religious holy site for them. But the thing is, we as Muslims believe that Sheikh Jarrah is actually a holy site for us because it's actually called after a wali, who is called Sheikh Jarrah, and he was actually Salah ad-Din Ayyubi's doctor, and he's actually buried there. And there is and it was 400 years ago, and there's an actual Ottoman map that clarifies and proves this. So this is how Sheikh Jarrah's name came to be 400 years ago. That has been ours for 400 years and more. And they want to occupy Sheikh Jarrah so they can actually create a parking space. So when the Israelis go and visit the site, where the holy site, they can actually have parking space so they can go park their cars there and visit the site. And they actually want to, which is the saddest part, create a 250 room apartments for Israeli residents. So they want to take out the homes, they want to destruct them, and they want to build apartments for Israeli settlers to go and live there, on top of the Palestinian homes that are originally for us. And they want to also connect Sheikh Jarrah with other Palestinian occupied neighborhoods and make it a whole region that is occupied by Israel. For example, there's Modain, there is a bunch of other Israeli occupied neighborhoods that are close to Sheikh Jarrah that they want to occupy Sheikh Jarrah so it can become a whole area that is occupied by Israel, so Israelis can have the means to travel safely and all of that. And as you know, Israel is a settler colonial state that seeks to replace all Palestinian native population with a new settler society. And hence the birthright, for example, which allows Jews from all over the world to go live in Israel. They're able to do all of this because of the support of other settler colonial states such as America, Australia, and believe it or not, Canada, the country that we actually live in, which is so sad to 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 talk about, but it is true. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what's happening in Sheikh Jarrah.
You know, I was watching a video, and it was was all over social media. I'm pretty sure our viewers have watched it. You guys have watched it. It was a guy and he's in the backyard and he's like, well, if I don't take it, someone else is gonna take it. And when I watched that, I was assuming this guy was gonna speak Arabic with her. But he was speaking English and it was an American accent. And I'm like, wow.
You literally came from the US and you're claiming land that is not yours and you're stealing it. You're saying that you're going to steal it. You literally vividly said that. I don't know how people can watch this and still claim that Israel is a democratic country. Israel is a peaceful country. Israel is the only peaceful country in the Middle East. I don't know.
And you know, I've had this conversation with, and I've posted it about it, and I've had this conversation with our Christian brothers and sisters. They're like, I can't go against Israel because it's in my Bible. Have you seen that it's been changed? Like, do you not have the original one? Like, and like I'm just there and I'm like very like I'm like, you do realize there's Christian Palestinians, and you do
our family, like, sorry to interrupt, like half of my family is Christian Palestinians. Like, they exist and they're not like they are the minority within Palestinians, but they are very loud as well.
They're
like
literally the oldest Palestinians to live in Palestine.
Yeah, like how it says in the Bible, like, and like Jesus, like he was like the whole like premise behind Christianity was like in Jerusalem, in Palestine, and part of it in Jerusalem and Nazareth. So I don't know how, like, I mean, Jesus was Palestinian, you know, Sayyidina Isa. Like, I don't know how anyone can, like, how any Christian that's not like Palestinian can kind of dispute that. Like, it's in your Bible if you actually read it.
See, they're like our new one says Jerusalem, Israel. So that's why we can't go against
Our
it.
new one.
Our new one, like that.
Okay, but do you realize it was an old one and it's been edited?
Yeah.
And you can't edit God's word. That's a whole separate debate. But like,
yeah, that's
like I'm just like, it's Palestine. It's Palestine.
I mean, the fact that there are like Christian Palestinians just negates their whole argument.
Exactly.
Like, they're not Israeli. They're Palestinian. They're Arab. Their first language is Arabic. It's not Hebrew.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay, and now let's move on. So Adan, what is happening in Al-Aqsa?
Okay, so the Al-Aqsa one is more of an ongoing thing, more so than Sheikh Jarrah. I feel like Sheikh Jarrah like recently really blew up. Like, it has been like there has been conflict there for years and years, but only recently has it blown up. Al-Aqsa is something that's like happens every Ramadan. It happens whenever like the Israelis decide they want to disturb the peace there. And unlike Sheikh Jarrah, there isn't like any significance to Al-Aqsa for the Israelis and the Jews, like the Jewish religion. There isn't. So there, like, anything that happens in Al-Aqsa is literally just to disturb the peace. There is no end goal other than to show the Palestinians who's in power. So just to also briefly explain like the history of like what's happening there. In our last podcast, like Yasmin said, we spoke about the general experience of living in Palestine and everything that happens there on a daily basis, as well as the history. We spoke a little bit about how much in control Israel is, like, and the Israeli soldiers are when it comes to day-to-day activities, like checking our bags when we enter a mall, checking the car, stuff like that. And I believe we also spoke about how they check our Israeli identifications before we enter Al-Aqsa Mosque, which like is mind-boggling to me. Like, even like it has never been something normal. Like, it has, like, it's always been something like, what the hell? Like they are controlling something that has nothing to do with them and everything to do with me and everything to do with my history, both religious and culturally. So they check our passports, our identification, and the purpose of that is to ensure that no one from the West Bank has crossed the borders illegally to enter Al-Aqsa, even though it's also there history and their culture and their religious holy site. But anyway, that's the purpose. They just want to put their presence everywhere. And then when you enter Al-Aqsa Mosque courtyard, because there's the Dome of the Rock, there's Al-Aqsa, and there's a couple other sites within the Al-Aqsa courtyard, their presence is very clear once you enter the courtyard. They're sitting beside the olive trees. They have guns that are the size of my younger sister. Like, they make themselves very clear. And that's that, like this, like the checking our identification and them being present there with rifles and stuff like that. That's an everyday thing. Like, no matter what day you show up to Al-Aqsa, that's how it's gonna look like. And then every once in a while, they like to disturb the peace a little bit. They like force some clashes. They don't allow anyone to go into Al-Aqsa, or like, it just depends on their mood. Honestly, they just like to disturb the peace. They like to show everyone who's in control. And what's happening now, like, you add Sheikh Jarrah to it, what's happening to Sheikh Jarrah and all the disturbance and clashes that are happening there, which is, like Nur said, like a 2-minute drive, and all of the upset that's happening, obviously, understandably. And you add Ramadan to it, which they always do something during Ramadan. They find something that's significant to Palestinians, and they try to like slowly erase that. Like, oh, like, you want to go to Al-Aqsa Mosque? Nope, like, we're in control here. Like, during Ramadan especially, or during Eid, they do that. Or like, they bomb like Gaza on the first days of Ramadan. Like, it's normal behavior to them. Unfortunately, it's really disturbing. And then you add the possibility of it being Laylatul Qadr, and and you get what's happening right now. So Laylatul Qadr, Ramadan, and the disturbance that's already happening in Sheikh Jarrah, and you get really big clashes within the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And like, what's even more disturbing, like, is seeing videos of the Israeli soldiers, people who have no right to be in our holy sites, and there's no place for them there, walking on our like prayer mats, walking over our religious site that has so much significance to us, with their shoes, and wearing like it's just disturbing sights. Like, if you haven't seen videos, like, I don't want to say go see them, but like keep that in mind when you do go see them. Like, it's heartbreaking seeing videos of Israeli soldiers who you already despise because they're stealing your land, also go and disturb the holy site that you go to have the most like and especially on Laylatul Qadr, you're trying to like have the most like peaceful night of the year, like, it's such an important night for Muslims, and they know that, obviously, and they go and open the doors to the actual mosque where people pray, and they step on the books, our holy books, and they step on our prayer mats, which are like very like, they're sacred to us. We don't like, they're kept really clean for us to pray on. And not only that, they're also shooting people who are in the most like peaceful state of the year for them, like, and they just want to sort of make their presence clear and not let Palestinians get comfortable. That's really what it is at the end of the day, because they like other than the Western Wall, which is on the outskirts of the Al-Aqsa courtyard, they have no like site for them there. Like, they don't have anything that they're like, oh, this is like, it's on our holy book, it's our birthright to be in Al-Aqsa. There isn't. They just want to disturb the peace that is Al-Aqsa Mosque in Ramadan, and specifically on Laylatul Qadr, which is disturbing. And then you see them stopping like buses like miles away for people who are coming to pray for Laylatul Qadr in Al-Aqsa Mosque, and they're like, you either go home or you walk. And you see hundreds of people, elderly women, elderly men, children, walking for hours to get to Al-Aqsa Mosque, which just shows the significance of what this day means to us and the holy site that is Al-Aqsa. And then you see also them shooting people there, and you see people like chanting, like, and like it's just like, and that's like the happier side of it, which like makes me so proud. And like any video I see of people like in Al-Aqsa, despite all of this, it's just like videos that make me cry, to be honest, of people like defending Al-Aqsa so wholeheartedly despite all of that. And like despite people like losing their eyesight, people like dying, like over like hundreds of people, like over 200 people are injured just from the last couple of days from Al-Aqsa Mosque. And Noor was telling me, like, because we were talking about this before, and we were like, because they also entered the Al-Aqsa clinic, they have like a little like hospital thing, which like she was saying, like the fact that there is a hospital like area in Al-Aqsa just shows how messed up this whole situation is, and how like every day this is like for someone to get injured in Al-Aqsa, which is so like bizarre to think about now that I'm here, like looking at it from far away, like, which was normal for me when we were there. Like, it's so bizarre. And they also entered that and started shooting people in there. It's like so many messed up layers to what's happening. Like, and I can't like talk about it without getting too emotional and rambling. Like, I hope I'm making sense, but it's a really big issue, and it's affecting us more in more ways than just being Palestinian. It's also affecting us in being Muslim people.
You know, talking about how the videos brings you like emotions and all of that. There was one video going on, and the soldiers are there, the Israeli soldiers are right there, and he's right beside them, he's kneeling and he's making dua and he's yelling on top of his lungs. And everyone behind him is like, Ameen, Ameen. Because he was yelling and crying, I didn't understand what he was saying, but I'm like, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Like,
I know.
I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand it, but Ameen, you know? And
Yeah.
like, it hurt me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and what is everyone else doing, right? That's what brings the question to my mind. What are we doing?
Yeah.
They're in pain and I'm not doing anything for them. I can't like what can I do for them, right? What do you think we can do? And what can our leaders do?
Okay. The best thing you could do is educate yourself. Please educate yourself. Israel tends to spread misinformation and propaganda about the occupation, so not everyone is actually aware of what's actually happening. Israel is a Zionist terrorist state, and it's ethnically cleansing people. They're killing people, occupying Palestinian homes and villages, and they're responsible for the displacement of 7.2 million Palestinians outside of Palestine. They're doing the most to not have us be there, to not have us, like not have us fight for our rights. And so you need to really educate yourself. You really need to know what's actually happening. Knowledge is power. At the end of the day, knowledge is power. What you know is what's going to help you fight for and fend for yourself, and aside from educating yourself, please spread the right information and spread it to everybody. I know people on Instagram now are putting those hashtags and they're spreading the information and stuff, but we need to do it more. We need to actually reach out, like just how BLM reached out to everybody around the world. We need to reach out to as many people as possible, just so they would know what Sheikh Jarrah is, what the Palestinian occupation is looking like currently in Ramadan and all the time. And aside from that, unfortunately, since it's lockdown in Ontario, we can't really do a protest, which has been difficult because we can't really spread awareness vocally and, out, and we can't really spread awareness by giving speeches and being vocal about what we want and what we see should be happening in Palestine. So we can't really spread as much as information as possible. And I don't know how much impact it would be if we were to our local MPs. So I would say continue spreading awareness on social media as much as possible. And regarding our leaders can have to stop supporting Israel and actually stand up for Palestine for once. Justin Trudeau needs to acknowledge what is happening in Palestine and stand up with us. The least Justin Trudeau can do as an apology of what happened to the Indigenous people of Canada is to acknowledge the Indigenous people of Palestine. If he isn't sorry if he doesn't actually acknowledge the Palestinian people, because he's letting history repeat itself in another country. So he needs to acknowledge what is happening in Palestine and what the occupation that Israel is doing to us as indigenous people, because that's exactly what Canada did here. So if you're actually sorry about what's happened in Canada, you would literally right away go stand up with the Palestinian people and show solidarity with us.
100%.
100%. Noor kind of touched on everything. I just want to like reiterate some of the things she was saying. First of all, it's COVID, which is tough because we're the kind of people that like to like do a little bit of an uproar, like scream our hearts out, because it's really difficult to be in so much like pain and seeing all that's happening and not like participating. And we're used to participating. So COVID has made that really difficult. If someone has any ideas of how we can be loud in our community, like please let us know, because we're like brainstorming, like doing car, like something within like with our cars, like doing a car protest or something like that. But and we can't do anything over Zoom because that limits our like the people who are reaching out, like it defeats the point of the protest. But just let us know, because we really want to do something and like just like scream our hearts out. So let us know, please. And on the point of the red circle that people are using on their Instagrams to spread awareness, I just want to add 2 points. One, that which is, do add it, do put the red circle, because it does like draw attention to the cause, especially if a wide range of people do it and like a mass amount of people do it. But also don't just do the red circle. I feel like if like it defeats the purpose if everyone has a red circle but no one knows what the red circle is for. So maybe in the red circle, hashtag save Sheikh Jarrah or hashtag free Palestine, or simply put the Palestinian flag, just so people know what the red circle is for. And I would abstain from using the PLM hashtag, Palestinian Lives Matter, because I feel like our cause is different than the Black Lives Matter cause, and I don't think they should be like in conflict with one another. I don't think it's a competition about whose lives matters. I feel like the Black Lives Matter movement is one thing, and it's a really important thing, and I don't think we should be taking away from it. And we shouldn't be also like, we have our own hashtag, which is Free Palestine, which has been said for decades, and I feel like we should like more so focus on our own cause rather than trying to take away from the attention of someone else's cause, and also bring awareness to our own cause, which is Free Palestine, more so than Palestinian Lives Matter, even though obviously they do. But that's, I feel like it's its own thing and we shouldn't be taking away from it. So I would hashtag Free Palestine, hashtag save Sheikh Jarrah, and also just use the red circle, put the Palestinian flag on it or anything like that, just so people know what the red circle is for. And what else did we talk about? Oh, like leaders, write to your leaders. There's a lot of links going around. You will find them on our social medias, as well as I believe the Masjid parking lot's social medias too, where you can write to your MPs, you can write to people in government, just so they know people are angry. They know people want to see you do something, even if all they do is put out a statement. That's more people that are hearing about the situation, and we are being acknowledged, and we are so used to not being acknowledged. So any sort of acknowledgement is, I don't want to say enough because it's not enough, but it's something, you know, like let's do anything we can do to raise awareness to what's happening. And like Noor said, be informed on the correct information, because there's a lot of misinformation going around, especially when it comes to Israel. And that's sort of the root of the problem, is that we are being erased, our history is being erased. So be informed, stay aware, and raise awareness 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to add on to what Adan was saying about, you know, send letters to your MPs and everything like that. I don't know what they're called in Australia. I don't know what they're called in the UK, Germany. Where else do we have viewers?
US.
From the US, obviously. I don't know what they're called, but you guys need to reach out to them. If you have a link that you can share with your American brothers and sisters, put it down in the comments below, and we will make sure that we highlight that comment, and that way everyone can click on it. So I just wanted to talk about one more thing before we finish off here. I want to talk about my perspective on what we can do and what our leaders can do. And I'm very disappointed in our Muslim community. I'm very disappointed in a lot of things in general. And basically what happened was yesterday I talked about a situation where Imran Khan, the Pakistani prime minister, has gone to Saudi Arabia, and he's made deals with with MBS, and mashallah he's had the chance to perform Umrah, especially during this time. It's super hard. And it's what's very conflicting to me is that you went to go make some deals there, but you haven't posted anything on your social media. You know, you say that you support Palestine. You say that Israelis will never be welcomed in Pakistan. Then why aren't you saying anything, right? And the point of me of saying that wasn't to um just direct it at him only. My point of saying that was for everyone to think about what are your leaders doing. No, I thought, I'm like, is my back home country doing something? No.
Yeah.
And mashallah, celebrities and everything, they're causing an uproar now on social media, right? And I'm just waiting for him to say something, because the moment a Muslim leader says something, you know, that has strength. That shows
Yeah.
strength in our Islam.
It's true.
And
100%.
yeah, and I have a couple of more things that I want to add, that we're all Muslim, you know, and I posted those videos on TikTok, and people were like, what does Imran Khan have to do with this? What does MBS have to do with this? I'm like, he's Muslim. And I'm like, he's Muslim, and he should care. And just
And he
like,
claims he stands with Palestine.
yeah, and just like Turkey has raised their voice, you know? And they're like, but Pakistan is on the weaker end. And I'm like, even if you're on the weaker end financially, your words have so much strength.
Yeah.
And we're stronger together. Like when
Yeah,
every Muslim country stands against Israel, like
100%.
that's it.
And thank you so much for bringing that up, Adan, because in my comment section, it was Afghanistan versus Pakistan. It was Pakistan versus India. It was India versus Pakistan. They're like, you kill me, and then they're like, no, you kill me. And I'm like, this is not the point of my videos, right? And then the Saudi Arabians come and they're like, how dare you say something about MBS? Like they were saying something like "Lanatullah."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm just there. I'm like, okay, thank you. I hope it's not Laylatul.
Thank you.
That for me is gonna go for 83 years, inshallah, man. But yeah, so I'm just shocked. Are we seriously gonna be like this? Before I point the finger at all of these Western leaders, I'm not gonna point the finger at them, because it's not their fault anymore. It's our fault.
100%.
It's our problem. Why are we not united? Why are we not together?
And Israel takes advantage of that. They see that Arab countries don't care, and they're like, I saw this video, and it's Netanyahu saying, we care more than your own leaders do care about you. Like, you know, like
Which
more than
is even
Arab
more
leaders care about
heartbreaking.
Palestine. It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It's so sad.
And I just want to say, please, for the love of God, I don't care if you feel like you're higher than if you're an Arab and you think you have some superiority over Palestinians. No, this is not it. This is about humanity. This is not about oh, I'm better than you. I'm no, let go of your ego.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah,
go of this
please.
complexity you have with your nafs. Let it go. Okay? Your silence is bringing problems. Your silence is taking
Allow.
part of Israel.
Yeah.
You being silent, you're saying that yes, whatever Israel is doing, khalas, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm here on my bed, I'm drinking my chai, I'm doing all this, fine, it's okay. I have nothing else to say.
I know.
I'm very disappointed. I'm disgusted.
I know.
It's really heartbreaking to see the separation when we should all be against the root, not the root, like against the problem currently, which is Israel right now.
And it's not even an Arab country against an Arab country that you'd want to take sides. It's literally Israel.
Yeah.
That's enough.
And yeah, like I'm very sorry on my behalf to my Palestinian brothers and sisters that our leaders, our Muslim leaders, are not able to do anything because their egos are too big. And inshallah khair, our generation, we have some hope.
We have.
Inshallah.
And our words, we have some hope. And and I just want to say, please share this video with everyone. We really do care about the cause of Palestine. We care about the cause of everything. We care about the cause of the Syrians, the Yemenis, the Uyghurs. We care about everyone.
Yeah.
Right? And we are all here to raise our voice. And all I'm asking is please hold each other's hands and let's move together.
I mean,
inshallah.
Ya Rab.
Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say?
Honestly, I ranted my heart out. I feel we got the message across, hopefully, and people will hear it.
I hope people hear it, share it as much as possible.
Inshallah.
Talk about it, spread awareness as much as possible. Know the history. Don't just know the fact, oh, Sheikh Jarrah is getting occupied. Know the history behind it so you can actually spread awareness like fully. You know what I mean? Like, if spread this video. If you don't know what's happening, watch this video, listen to it. Just know a little bit of background just so you can have the means of knowing what's actually happening in Palestine and what.
It's so important because you're not gonna hear it anywhere else.
Yeah. Like we're not claiming a land that is not ours, like Israelis are.
Yeah, but honestly, I just hope that this video does something, and hopefully we can educate some people.
Hopefully, I really hope so.
And last night was a special night. It was the 27th. Today is still the 27th. Please make dua, and just remember that we are all in this together, because at the end of the day, it's not about me being Pakistani, me being Afghan, them being Palestinian or whatever. It's about humanity right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and
thank you, Yasmin, for raising awareness and wanting to talk about this and bringing us on the show. Really
thank you for having us again. Seriously, we love talking about Palestine, so any outlet.
I was like so passionate. I called them, and they were in the grocery store. And I'm like, "You guys, we got to do something," and they're like, "Okay."
We'll do something. Yeah. No, we're like, yeah, we have to.
We were very excited.
Yeah.
We needed to speak. We needed a platform that we can actually share what we're thinking, because I felt like my hands were tied. Like all I could do is freaking tweet and like share on my Instagram story. Like I felt
to the same audience that I'm always
the same
yelling
audience
at. Like
too. It makes me happy that I can share how I'm feeling with a different audience.
Yes,
and a bigger platform that like can reach more people for sure.
I'm gonna put so many hashtags. I'm gonna do as much as I can to people. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope we get to see you on our Eid, inshallah. And thank you for joining us today, and talk to y'all later. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye.